What's up, Kissables? It's the Kissable Diva, and I am your love coach and date night expert, and you are now listening to the Kissable Nights podcast, where we discuss everything love, sex, and relationships after dark. So, I hope you all have had a wonderful work week. I hope you enjoyed the last episode where we discussed learning the game, and we had Miss Juliana Philpart on here talking about how to impress your boo. I thought that was a lot of fun, and it could be something that you can use in the future if your significant other still watches football, because you know some have boycotted football, but that's for another discussion. However, today we are going to talk about the 4 basic styles of communication, and I was discussing with a friend of mine how they communicate, how they felt like they were saying the same thing over and over again, but they were not getting to any result after communicating what they needed. Basically communicating what they needed. And I asked her if she understood the communication style of her partner, how they communicate to her. And it's almost like you have to kind of break it down. And I like to use, for my parents and grandparents used to say cornbread terms. I have to use cornbread terms when breaking down something. And it's not necessarily to break it down because the person is slower to comprehend, but you want to break it down so that you can compare what you're saying to what they understand, so that when it is compared, they'll be like, oh, okay, so when you say this, I'm believing, or I'm thinking that you mean that. So it's almost like they can relate it to something that they know, so that they can understand what you're saying. And it is absolutely amazing. The subject of communication is very, very broad and very, very deep. It's very deep. And I really feel like that is something that a lot of couples should do, like an exercise on communication, because every time you hear couples saying communication is key, communication is key, communication is key, it absolutely is key once it is broken down and you realize that everybody does not communicate like you do. And once you understand that they don't communicate like you do, and that you have to slow yourself down and listen to how your partner communicates, and your partner does the same for you, it makes better for you both to come to an agreeable result of whatever it is that you're trying to communicate. So we're just going to go over the 4 basic styles. There are, as I was researching, a lot of people have done different variations, but we're just going to do the 4 basic styles. So the 4 styles is passive communication, aggressive, passive-aggressive. I learned that personality within the last couple of years, and assertive. So if you're a passive communicator, then you'll find yourself not being assertive. You fail to express your feelings. You don't express your feelings. It's almost like, I remember going to school with classmates, and there was always bullying. Okay, bullying is nothing. There's nothing new under the sun. There was always bullying. We just handled it differently when I was going to school. However, there were people who were passive. Okay, and they became passive aggressive when they allowed those feelings to build up inside of themselves, and they reacted, but they didn't react outwardly. It was almost like something sly and sneakily they did. But anyway, that is passive aggressive. But however, being passive, I remember people like holding it inward, those feelings inward, and not expressing themselves. And it's almost doing yourself a disjustice, and you're not able to mature on how to communicate. So does not express feelings or opinions, or the needs, doesn't give eye contact, acts really shy, or we would take it as coy or shy. We would take it as that. So that would be like the passive communicator. What's the passive communicator? The nonverbals, soft volume, very fidgety. We would take it as nervous. Like I would read that as nervous. If I were to see somebody really fidgety and doesn't give me eye contact, I would see it as nervous. Their heads are down. So basically that's it. They have soft volumes. They think of themselves as small, and their heads are down, and they are like fidgety. They're fidgety, and they don't give you eye contact. So how people react. I would react as if this person is shy and can't express themselves. But generally, people become frustrated because they can't express themselves. They can take advantage of you because you're not expressing what you need. So if you're not expressing what you need, you're not giving eye contact, they feel like they can run over you. You don't know. People feel like you don't know what you want. People feel like you don't know what you want. You have your head down. You're fidgeting. You're not giving me eye contact. Like, I can just run over you and get whatever I want out of you. When really it's because you're neglecting your own feelings and you're not being assertive, and you're not saying what your needs are and what you really want. So that's the perception that people see of someone who is passive. If that is you, but being more assertive to where you're able to express your feelings so that you don't ignore or enclose those feelings within your own self. Because once you do that, then it's almost like you're angry. You're angry because you did not acknowledge those feelings, and then like it's almost like you're mad with the world, and it's a snowball that's not even worth battling within your own selves. I wanted to go into these communication styles so that you could kind of see how people perceive. If you acknowledge your communication style, then you'll be able to see how people perceive you, and then you can take it from there to make the changes so that with your partner, you'll be able to communicate effectively. Relationship takes time and it takes work, and everything always needs to be fine-tuned no matter what. So that is your passive communication. So aggressive people, we're so used to saying, oh my gosh, she's so aggressive. They're very demanding. I call it the takeover spirit. When they come over and you're doing a project, they come over and they just take over everything. They feel like nobody else does it like them. Nobody else does it right. It's always it's because of you. They use you statements. I call them you statements. It's always you because you didn't, because you didn't do what I said, because you. This happened to me because of you. It's not taking any type of responsibility. They get frustrated easily. They're not good listeners. They interrupt a lot. And because they're not listening, because they're so busy trying to say whatever is on their mind because they feel like they're right. That's the aggressive communicator. They don't own up to any issues because they don't take responsibility. And it's funny, when I was researching this, it generates fear and hatred in others. I thought that was interesting. A nonverbal for an aggressive communicator, they're sharp. Their facial expressions, they're glaring or they're frowning all the time. They're very loud. It's almost like they have to be bigger than others. It's like that bully. If you can picture maybe a cartoon, a bully over the person that they're bullying, it seems like they're smaller. They invade personal space. I thought that was interesting. They invade personal space. That's nonverbals for an aggressive communicator. People feel like they can't take your word for it. Some people, they can say something they're going to do something, and you be like, you know what, they're good for their word. But an aggressive personality or an aggressive style or communicator, they can't take your word for it. They see you as uncooperative. If you're known to be aggressive, you hurt people's feelings a lot. Some people are afraid to approach you. You're not approachable because they feel like they're going to get yelled at, scolded. People lose respect for an aggressive person. So you're not respected. Like I said, people will not take your word. It's almost like it creates stress to even think about saying anything to you. It's almost like you make people feel defensive. They'll go back to bat with you, or you'll have those that will withdraw and not say anything to you. If you are an aggressive communicator, or you recognize yourself to be an aggressive communicator, that has that kind of bullying style, you're out to win no matter what, you're explosive and unpredictable, all of those things, then that's how you make people feel. You make them feel humiliated. You make them feel uncooperative. You make them feel afraid and hurt, and they don't want to approach you. They feel like you're unapproachable. So those are the two. So the next one is, passive aggressive. You already talked about this, kind of with passive. You don't acknowledge the problem. You're sarcastic about it. Your expressions don't match your feelings, don't match your true feelings. You quietly sabotage to get even. And that's when you become passive aggressive. You know what I'm saying? So it's not in your face, but you do it sneakingly. And something else that I saw that was interesting when it came to being passive aggressive, the nonverbals for passive aggressive is, I thought this was weird, a sweet, sugary voice. Really? A sweet, sugary voice for someone who's passive aggressive. When I kind of think about the people that I know currently, I think that I do know a couple that probably is passive aggressive. A sweet, sugary voice. I thought that was interesting. The posture, facial expression usually is sweet and innocent, but they sneakingly are vengeful. Pretends to be warm. If you are passive aggressive, you pretend to be warm. You have there are some that have a sugary, sweet, or a very nice, pleasant voice. Uses a very nice, pleasant voice. Okay. Comes across very nice and calm. However, does sneakingly get even and, get back at you. And I have seen that with, when I think about it, when you think about people who act out that way, it's like, oh my goodness, they are passive aggressive. And you don't label it quote unquote like that, but it's almost like it helps you learn how to communicate with that person. I like to encourage people to be open with me because I kind of see my personality as, I kind of see me as aggressive, but I'm a Sagittarius, so I kind of care about people's feelings. So I'm kind of aggressive and then kind of assertive. So I'm mostly, I come across very assertive and it may seem aggressive, but it's almost like it's a straight line with me. It's either white or black. It's like, it's no in between with me. It's 1 or 100. It's no, we're not doing the middle. So I'm very assertive and it may come off aggressive. So I've learned that about myself. I am totally that. And a lot of people have told me now it's people who either you like me or you don't. Either you love me or you don't. You know what I mean? And I have a lot of people who, some people, let me correct that. Some people that actually love my personality because they know what they're going to get. There is no swing. There's no sugarcoating it. It is what it is. That is passive communication, aggressive communication, and passive aggressive. So now we're going to talk about assertive, which is the last. So being assertive, this particular communicator communicates respectfully. They listen. They do not interrupt. They do not allow any manipulation or abuse. They give you eye contact. They seem in control of themselves, their feelings, everything they're doing. They use I statements versus an aggressive communicator uses you. The assertive communicator uses I statements. And you find that they connect with a lot of people. And the reason why they connect with a lot of people, because like I said, it is what it is. They give you exactly what's needed to communicate. You know where they are. There is no guessing. There's no I think they are. There's none of that. But some of the nonverbals for assertive is a medium pitched voice. So they're not too loud and they're not too soft. Their gestures are just right, understandable. Like everybody will understand their gestures when they're talking with their hands. Because, most people, they speak with their hands and they also like have facial expressions. They move their heads. So they're very, can be animated when speaking. So that you can understand by the nonverbal and verbal, because that is also a way of communicating. They have a very balanced posture. They're not fidgeting like the passive communicator, and they're of course they're in control and they respect others. I said all of that to say this. I explained all of that to say this. I thought it was very interesting to talk about how the different or the basic communicating styles. I thought it was interesting to talk about the basic communicating styles, because a lot of people do not think about it. It's almost like you beat yourself up for, you say it in your head. You may write it down, write it down in a letter. You may try to say it to someone else to see if you're making sense, but it's not. Sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it's not you. Not saying that's all the time issue. Sometimes it's not you. What you need to do is understand how your significant other communicates. What's their communication style? And if both of you understand, if both of you are aggressive, then you need to bring it down 1,000, and you probably need to write it out. You probably need to, time each other, do it one at a time, so that you can understand. Because with aggressive person, they're not listening. All they're thinking about is what they want to say. So maybe speaking is not the best. Maybe writing it down is the best. Maybe having someone to mediate is the best. So once you find out how you communicate and learn how your partner communicates, are they passive aggressive? Does your partner seem like every time you say something to them, they just seem like they don't care, and they go on about their business, and you just feel like, oh my God, they're just not acknowledging me and my feelings, but they have feelings, but they're just not expressing them, and it's almost like, oh my God, I can't do this type thing. But you want to get in the habit of learning your partners, the way that they communicate, because guess what? Communication is key. And that's one of the things that helps the foundation of a relationship, communication. And if you're able to communicate with your partner and you both have the same goals together for your relationship, then that's something to make your foundation even stronger. So I thought it was interesting. I hope you guys got a lot out of this, going over these. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is nothing super, super deep. It can go deeper than this. When I say communication, it's key, honey, but it is so deep. It is a deep, deep subject. Communication is deep, and it's not. And I hear couples say that a lot, especially the couples that I have interviewed. And they don't necessarily, quote unquote, have to break down. They've just took the time to learn each other. They took the time to learn how to communicate to their partner. So it's not like they've actually put a label on how they communicate, but they just broke the code and basically know how to communicate with their partner. They know how their partner communicates. They're not trying to change their partner to communicate just like them. They learned how their partner communicates, and then they changed the way they approach them. And that's what it's all about. So if you want me to go in further when it comes to communicating, make sure to go to kissableretreats.com. comment on the podcast. That's where I post all the podcasts, and you could comment, leave a comment on the podcast if you would like. Head over to Kissable Retreats on Facebook if you want to leave a comment there. And I also have a group for the Kissable Nights podcast. If anyone is still in there and listens to the podcast, you can make sure that you leave a comment there. You can also, we have it available if you go to Kissable Nights podcast, kissableretreats.com, and you can leave a message. You don't have to type it out. Just go there, click the button, and leave a message about today's podcast or any other podcast that you may have listened to. You may hear yourself on the podcast. Today is February 10th, guys. So it's 4 more days until so-called, I say so-called, Valentine's Day. It's not so-called Valentine's Day. That's what the Gregorian calendar has it as. Has it as Valentine's Day. I wanted to give you last minute date ideas that won't take you long to do. So if you're really simple, I'm just going to give you a couple. If you're last minute, which I hope that you're not, but sometimes it just happens, look into your local city entertainment. Mostly your city has a website where they have the entertainment listed, and you can look there on the website to see what's available. The city may have, tickets available for anything that's going on in your city. They may have ideas that you can use for your city that you live in. Or if you don't want to go out and don't want to spend any money, you can buy a couple of their favorite things. It could be something really simple, their favorite drink. You can order from their favorite restaurant. That might be kind of difficult. You may want to cook their favorite meal, or have someone that can cook their favorite meal. Do a nice backyard or a living room picnic. Put on your favorite CD or play your favorite music. Watch, a movie with a projector in the backyard. It's so many things that you can do at home. If you're last minute and want to go out, the best thing to do is the city website. A lot of things, like if you're last minute, but you know what? I find a lot of people don't necessarily, quote unquote, try to do it on the 14th. There are a lot of people that do, but a lot of people that are able to because of work. So you can do a jazz night. You can go to a lounge if you want to do it that weekend, because the 14th, I believe, falls on a Thursday. Yeah, I believe it falls on a Thursday. So sometimes you're at work and you're not able to actually do it the night of Valentine's Day. Those that do celebrate Valentine's Day. If you just want to take advantage of the specials that are going on during that month, you can do that. Those that do express their love year round, kudos to you. Those that really love Valentine's Day and cherish it, then these are the last minute things for you. You can do a food tour. I don't know if people actually kind of know to do that, but they're fun. You meet new people. You go around the city. Sometimes when you're working a lot, you don't know what's in your city. So doing food tours, walking food tours are fun. Doing food tours can help you see what's in the city. It helps you meet people to find out. You might find another couple. I always feel that couples should have couple friends. You should always have, if you're a married couple, you should have, I'm not saying not have single friends, but you should always have a married couple friend, that you guys go out with, or, you may meet that couple out on that tour. You know what I'm saying? You may meet that couple out on a concert. Last minute concert tickets, movie night, you can make it. So you can make it an evening of service where you hire a chef to come into the home, and he could prepare you a meal just for you and your significant other. Put on your favorite record, your music record, honey. Put on your favorite playlist. That's up to date. Put on your favorite playlist. You can have a masseuse come in and do something in the home. Most of the time, people like to go outside of the home. But if you're last minute, it's kind of hard to book something like a hotel or reservations when you're coming down to if you're trying to make the mark of Valentine's Day. If you're just trying to do it for the month, then you may be able to go, carry out your plan and do exactly what you would like. So those are just some little last minute tips for you to go ahead and do for your city. Make sure you go to your city's website, look under entertainment or nightlife, and they should have what's available for the following week or for the month of February. A lot of places celebrate the month of February as the month of love and not necessarily the date. So I hope that you all enjoyed this podcast. I absolutely enjoyed looking into these different communication styles. Please let me know if you want me to go further into them, how to combat them, give you some tips on how you can learn how to communicate with your partner, how you can learn that, give you examples on how you can do that. Let me know. KissableRetreats.com. Everything is there. Leave a message, leave a comment. I'm here for you guys. So with that being said, make sure you follow me at Kiss Retreats on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook is Kissable Retreats. And I look forward to the next show, guys. I'm trying to line up some good things for you. So have a great night. Thank you so much for listening to the Kissable Nights podcast, where we discuss everything love, sex, and relationships. I am the Kissable Diva. I am your love coach, and I am your date night expert. Have a good night. Remember to keep it kissable. Peace.